Welcome to Lesson 9, Agent Workflows, where the real senior skill isn't using agents, it's knowing how much rope to give them. Tools like Claude Code, Cursor Agents, and Aider can read your files, run code, and finish tasks while you're off doing something else. The promise is huge. The reality is messier. They nail 60% of tasks 90% of the way and blow up the other 5% silently. So the job becomes matching the level of autonomy to the task, putting guardrails in before you press go, and knowing when to step back in. So here's what we're building toward in this lesson. 4 skills that map directly to that autonomy versus control tension. First, the 4 levels themselves: inline, copilot, agent, autonomous, and why picking one mode for everything is where most teams bleed time. Second, a 5-question checklist for deciding what's actually safe to delegate. Third, the 6 guardrails senior teams put in place before an agent runs: read-only mode, approval gates, rollback points. And fourth, the 5 signals that tell you it's time to step in, because agents almost never raise their hand when things go wrong. Let's start with the spectrum itself. On the left, inline, tab completion, CMDK, every suggestion gated by you. Slow, but maximum control, which is exactly what you want for sensitive code or when you're learning a code base. Then Copilot, Composer, Cursor Chat. The AI does multi-file work and you approve the diff. That's most daily work. Step right again and you hit agent mode. Claude Code, Cursor Agents, planning and iterating on their own. Fine for scoped, reversible tasks. And finally, autonomous. Cron jobs, CI agents, long-running and unsupervised. Bounded, low stakes only. The senior move isn't picking a favorite, it's matching the level to the task. Once you've picked the level, run the task through 5 questions before you hand it off. Is it scoped, bounded, and finite, not refactor the auth system? Is it reversible, a feature branch, not a prod migration? Is it verifiable, tests or type check giving you a real success signal? Is it bounded in cost, a token or time budget, not open-ended exploration? And is it worth the overhead at all? One no, and you don't delegate. You scope it down, or you just do it yourself. Here's what that looks like in practice. Add ZOD validation to 4 endpoints, match the pattern in create post, run tests after each. It passes all 5 questions, so you hand it off. The agent reads the existing pattern, plans the diff, waits for approval. That's your first gate. Then it works through each endpoint, and crucially, when login fails one test on an empty password rejects, it stops and asks. It doesn't guess. 12 minutes of agent time, 5 minutes of your review, instead of 90 minutes of typing. That handoff only works because guardrails are already in place. Here are the 6 that senior teams treat as non-negotiable. Branch only, never main, so rollback is one command. Plan before edit, so you see the diff before it lands. Approval gates on the dangerous stuff, schema changes, deletions, secrets. Tests after every edit. A token or time budget so a runaway loop doesn't burn $50. And an audit log because when something breaks at 2 a.m., you need to know what the agent actually did. Set these up once. They pay for themselves the first week. Guardrails contain the damage, but you still need to know when to step in, because agents don't crash, they drift. 5 patterns to watch for. 1, looping on the same error, fixing test A, breaking test B, back and forth. After 3 cycles, that's a human problem, not a model problem. 2, scope creep, where you asked for sign-up validation and got a full auth refactor. Read the diff, revert if it overshoots. 3, tool hallucination, invented CLI flags, missing imports, silent retries. 4, plausible but wrong logic, green tests, subtle off by 1, tautological assertions. Review the logic, not just the check mark. And 5, token budget burning fast. 80% gone on the first file of 4 means it's flailing. Stop it. Spot one of these, step in. That reflex is the job. Once you've got autonomy and guardrails dialed in, these 6 moves are where the real leverage shows up. Plan first, execute later. 2 phases catch 80% of misalignment at 5% of the cost. Always run on a feature branch because cheap rollback means you can let agents try things. Prefer multiple small agents over one big one. Parallel scoped tasks isolate failure. Read the log, not just the diff, to catch wrong reasoning before bad code. Let tests be the spec. Agents hit 90% first try when success is unambiguous. And treat your token budget as a hard stop. Hitting the ceiling isn't a reason to extend, it's a signal the task is the wrong shape. So here's the whole lesson on one page. 12 patterns that make up the Senior Orchestration Toolkit. The left column is your autonomy ladder and branch hygiene. The middle is delegation discipline. When to plan, when to stop, when to actually read what the agent did. And the right column is the human side. The trifecta that makes a task agent ready, the gates you keep for yourself, and the 5 red flags that mean stop and step in. Screenshot this one. It's the whole argument compressed. Now zoom in on the failure modes themselves. Every team hits these, usually more than once. Delegating a category instead of an outcome. Skipping the plan and finding out at the end what the agent thought you meant. Trusting a green check on tautological tests. Letting an agent touch main just this once. And the expensive one, grinding past 3 failed iterations because you've already spent the credits. Failed once, retry, twice, fine, 3 times, stop. The task is the wrong shape, and sunk cost is what kills agent ROI. So here's the practice. 3 exercises that actually build the reflex. First, run the 5-question filter across 5 real tasks from your backlog and note which question failed for each. Second, pick one agent-ready task and force plan-only mode before executing. The plan almost always surfaces a misunderstanding you'd otherwise catch 30 minutes too late. Third, spend 15 minutes wiring guardrails into your real repo. Branch policy, approval gates, token budget, test gate. Boring setup, invisible payoff, until the day it saves you. That's lesson 9 in the bag. 4 autonomy levels, the 5-question delegation filter, 6 guardrails, and 5 red flags. You've got the harness for agents now. Next up is a tag shift. Lesson 10 kicks off the professional track with AI security and compliance. Secrets, IP, leak prevention, audit trails. Because once your team is shipping with agents, the blast radius stops being personal. See you there.